Hello everyone. Recently an important event took place. The largest developer, Emaar, decided to invest about $6 billion in Georgia, specifically in the Georgian economy and real estate. And the purpose of this video is to analyze why they decided to do this. Because, well, such large investments aren't made for no reason. The thing is, there were recently elections in Georgia, and many people were worried about sanctions and other issues. Whether to invest in this country or not, what the risks are, whether sanctions would be imposed or not. But they went ahead and invested, seemingly at a time when for many it wasn't an obvious choice. And it's precisely these kinds of non-obvious investments that are very interesting. It's worth analyzing them, and I'll explain to you why this works, how it will affect the real estate market, prices, and many other processes happening here in Georgia. Let's get started. I think the first and main reason why such a major developer decided to invest specifically in Georgia is that it's a developing location. That is, Georgia is currently one of the most undervalued and rapidly growing locations. What does this mean? It means that, for example, as of today, certain real estate segments are almost completely absent here. If we take Batumi specifically, there is practically no business class or premium real estate here. This means that all the projects that appear here at the very beginning, the first projects, will reap all the rewards, they will have the highest margins, and they will experience the best growth. Even if a developer makes some compromises somewhere, the market will forgive it. Why? Because the market is simply empty? There has already been a similar precedent in this market. For example, about 10 years ago, there was only one economy class project here built by the developer Orbi. And since they were building the first comfort class project on the market, everyone who invested in that comfort class at the time basically made a pretty good return, doubling or even tripling the money they invested. And today, if you understand what X2 or X3 means, that's plus 200, plus 100% to the price, it's a very good investment, a very good opportunity. Naturally, professional investors who understand how this works chase after such locations. And there aren't that many such locations in the world. In fact, they're quite rare. I think this is one of the main reasons why such a major developer invested here. On top of that, they understand that this isn't the only reason, it's just one of the important ones. But there are still many other advantages, which we'll talk about now in Georgia, including for investing your funds, saving, capital transit, and so on. The obvious and important advantages, in my opinion, are that you can easily bring your money here and just as easily take it out. And right now, that's not possible in many locations, including many developing ones. Overall, this is an important factor that attracts many investors here from European countries, Arab countries, and many others. Well, including, of course, from Russia as well. The second important factor, on a very small piece of land, there is a huge concentration of all kinds of riches. Yes, natural riches. There are canyons, waterfalls, ski resorts, the sea, the magnetic sands of Shekvetili, and a vast number of thermal springs bubbling up from underground where sanatoriums are located. So basically, in one small location, you get everything. What is lacking here today is infrastructure. And such a major developer understands this perfectly well too. That's why they are investing in infrastructure as well, and naturally I think they will be given some key plots of land where they can implement great high quality projects. And that will of course be great because, as I said, the market here is going through an entirely new stage of development where entire market segments simply don't exist yet. I'm talking specifically about Batumi. Investments from such a major player are of course not just about money. The main point is about the brand. The fact is, at the end of 2022, the largest global holdings entered this market. These are multi-billion-dollar companies that own thousands of hotels all over the world. The Wyndham Holding entered the market. This is a top-tier holding along with IG Holding and Accor Holding. They entered with their various brands, but nevertheless, by the end of 2022, they were already building hotels here, present and developing. So even back then, they realized that this location was very interesting. And now Emaar has realized it too, yes. And they have also invested, and they will bring not only money here, but also their brand. What is a brand? A brand is a large base of loyal clients who, for some reason, are already buying from this developer in other countries. And these are affluent clients, clients who are ready not just to buy economy or comfort class properties, but who are able to spend millions of dollars on real estate to invest. And most importantly, They trust this brand, they trust what it has already built, the quality and so on. This is very important because here in the Batumi market there are currently very few quality projects. Very few. They exist, but there are really very few of them. To be more precise, about 80% of the market here consists of economy class projects. And this economy class, considering that it is not serviced at all and often has a huge number of drawbacks, problems with waterproofing, soundproofing, and often these buildings are simply covered in mold. No one takes care of this. And even the new projects that appear here in this economy class segment, because they are not maintained, they quickly fall into disrepair no matter how beautiful the pictures the developer shows you. Comfort class projects make up about 18% of the market. So if 80% is economy, then about 18% are comfort class projects. Of course, there aren't as many of them as there are economy projects, but there are enough, yes. That is, there are enough to make it so that as of today, the current demand is not sufficient to meet the supply available in the comfort segment. Developers are building and selling more than the market is ready to absorb. This is also an important indicator. But when it comes to business class projects are those where there is proper infrastructure, at least some infrastructure exists. As for premium class projects where the infrastructure not only exists but actually creates a wow effect, there are currently none of those on the market at all. Today we have only 2 premium projects under construction, and for those who understand what that means, it's a big opportunity. And by the way, they're available at really great prices. If anyone is interested in reading up on or analyzing premium projects as well as new projects that are here and are about to enter the market at very low prices but with quite high margins. Let me give you an example. Here, there is one of the premium projects that, as of today, you can buy for around $2,000 per square meter. Everyone who understands what I'm talking about knows that, for example, projects of the same class in Moscow or Sochi, you simply can't buy them even for $10,000 per square meter. They just don't exist there. There, everything costs much more. Here, you can simply buy at a very low price. Why? Because this is the early stage of the market. There is nothing like this here yet. Developers, of course, enter at the lowest possible price so that the market can absorb, can take in the product they are selling. Because if they enter right away at the final price, say $10,000 per square meter, it's unlikely that investors will invest immediately. That's not typical for this market. There aren't such prices on this market yet, but there are already examples of premium projects growing where, among others, my investors entered at around $2,500 and made 2 or 3 times their investment. There are already examples of such growth even though the project is still under construction, meaning it has appreciated so much that today it's a very interesting story. And Emaar, among others, I'm sure will bring premium projects, exactly what this market is lacking. I highly doubt they'll come here with any kind of comfort class or economy projects. First of all, that's not the kind of developer they are, and secondly, there's no point in building something that's already abundant here. It makes sense to build what isn't here yet, something people will be chasing after in the near future. And in general, if you look at anyone's behavior, people always want to buy something better, even starting from childhood. For example, if you take a child to a store, put several toy cars in front of them and ask, which one do you want? Naturally, they'll pick the most beautiful, the best one available. Buyers in the real estate market behave in much the same way. If there's nothing on the market today, then of course people choose from what's available. But when something better, more promising or more attractive appears on the market, naturally people want it and will strive to obtain that value. This is also very important. In my opinion, many investors today are making a big mistake by getting involved in projects that are already irrelevant. For example, they invest money in a comfort class project that costs around $2,000 per square meter, expecting that in a year, 2 or 3, these projects will double or triple in value. That's not going to happen because such projects simply don't have enough value characteristics. In other words, they don't have any wow factor infrastructure or any impressive approach or concept that would allow them to increase in value. At the same time, every year, better and much higher quality projects are already coming in and being built here. And investors, as well as people who are ready and able to pay, will invest in these kinds of projects first and foremost. And it is very important to understand that if you invest your money today in an unpromising, irrelevant project today, what are you waiting for tomorrow? Well, let me give you a simple example. The difference looks literally like this. You are investing money in a Khrushchev-era building today, right? Well, who knows Russian real estate, right? I think many people know. And you expect it to be worth, say, as much as a new building from a developer tomorrow. This is pretty much the same approach most investors take when they invest in outdated projects today. That is, they might look nice in pictures, you might be promised infrastructure, but you need to break down the project in detail, you need to examine it, right? Then what kind of infrastructure will there be? What effect will it have on people? This is very important. Then now let's talk about another equally important point. It's about how much value there is, how willing people are to pay extra for a particular property. That's the beauty of premium projects. You can essentially set any price you want there. So, when you start building, for example, you have the profit margin of a premium project, let's say $2,000 or $3,000 per square meter. That's what you need to build. But the final price is not limited. That means you can sell this premium project for $6,000, $8,000, or even $10,000 per square meter. The only question is, who will buy it for that kind of money? And the people who will buy it are those who experience a wow effect. Yes, so if someone comes to this project and says, wow, I would live here, I'm ready to buy it for any price. If it's that good, if it evokes that much emotion, then the person will pay that money. So the price of a premium product is limited only by its value. Its value to the person who is actually paying for it. It's very important to understand this because it's something you don't find in economy or comfort class products. If you're buying just economy or comfort class, they always have a ceiling. A maximum market value, yes. For example, comfort class will never cost more than $2,000 because the target audience buying this comfort class is choosing the project. There, the main criterion is the price, and price always outweighs value. So, for someone buying, say, economy class, all other factors are not as important to them as the price. But with a premium product, it's exactly the opposite. And price is only the third, fourth, or even fifth factor there. And the most important thing is not the price. The most important thing is the impressions a person gets. And of course, when we talk about earnings and maximum profitability, it's only business class and premium class products. You won't make much anymore on any other products. What is actually better to do for a particular market to figure out which project you're getting into? Is it just really beautiful pictures, or do you understand what the value of this product is for a specific consumer? Because again, I'll repeat, most products are not increasing in price these days. And I suggest you follow the link below to check out the 7 main strategies that investors here use. I've laid out all the pros and cons for you. By reading just one article, you can already understand how the market works here, what the advantages and disadvantages of different strategies are, so that you can really earn well. Also, I've attached a second file for you with the 9 most popular residential complexes for investment. You can also study and look at the pros and cons of various projects, real figures on how much people earn from them, what returns come from price appreciation, what returns come from rental income, and how liquid this real estate is for resale. All the links are below in the description. Check it out. I'll be happy to chat with you. See you soon.